Hello, WEN members. This is Joe Dichiara with the inaugural transmission of Recipes for New Business Success, brought to you by Bedrock Business Builders. And like I said, I am your host, Joe Dichiara. I am going to try to log into the live thing here on Facebook. I haven't really had much luck with that, to be honest with you. But if I can, then we can maybe do some interactive training. And first, let me describe, who I am if you don't know me. And okay, I think I might have this here. One second. Okay, here we are. I'm writing the comment in there. Hi. So if you are live and you want to ask me some questions about tonight's topic or anything else that has to do with starting, building, and managing a small business, feel free. If you're watching live, give me a hashtag live. And if you're watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay. Before I start, I want to thank Haley Gray for putting this up, and her team, Jenny Wright, Irene Crow, and all the other people that I don't even know that are making this happen. I keep saying this technology is unbelievable, people. And part of your job, if you're starting a business, you need to understand, you don't have to be a techie, but you have to understand what's possible and what you can do for free. And the topic of my show tonight is really about getting into business without spending a ton of money. That's right, people. You can't buy success. And I can't stress that enough. If you could just buy success, everybody would just take out a loan from the bank and buy it. Success comes with hard work, and there is no way around that. People that become successful early and easily usually crash and burn. And the proof is in the pudding. All you got to do is look at, rock stars, athletes, people that win the lottery. You know how many people that win the lottery go bankrupt? And it turns out to be one of the worst things that ever happened to them. Well, business is no different. And I'll tell you a short story. One of my first businesses before I graduated college was I drove an ice cream truck. And I remember it like it was yesterday. It was the summer of 1983. And I turned down this tree-lined block, and I felt like I was the freaking king of the world because I was making money. It was easy. Most of my friends had jobs in like department stores or factories for the summer, and I was free. It was amazing. And unfortunately, like most entrepreneurs, I believed that it was always going to be like this. Always, until I got my first accounting job. And 6 months into the job, I got a letter with a big red sticker on it that said tax warrant. And now I'm working at a CPA firm. My whole life flashed before my eyes. All my dreams, all my hopes of being a CPA and a business mogul were gone. And for 3 days, I suffered unnecessarily, I found out. But I suffered, and I had all the anxiety. I was canceling vacation trips. And all I could think about, what could I have possibly done that now I got to go out and get a tax attorney, and how much trouble was I in? And that's the truth. Something jolted me, because then I realized I was surrounded by CPAs, and I got up the courage because I thought I did something wrong. And I asked one of the CPAs, what do I do about this? And he suggested I just call the number on the notice and find out what the hell it was about. And it turned out that I had registered as a sales tax vendor when I leased the ice cream truck because it was a legitimate business. There were books and records, there were documents, and I formally, without realizing it, signed up as a sales tax vendor. Now, luckily, I kept all my records. I knew that I'm going to be an accountant. I should keep some records. And I went through the file, and I had something called a certificate of authority. And all I had to do, I called the number, and they said, "Oh, well, you didn't have any taxable sales because ice cream wasn't subject to sales tax." And all I had to do was file a blank return, a zero return, my name, all the business info, and return the certificate of authority, and I was off. I didn't need to hire an attorney, and I didn't need to cancel my vacation. But what that did for me was that instilled the fear of God in me. And I realized at that moment that business wasn't as simple as I had thought it would be. Because I went to business school. I was studying to be a CPA, and everything I needed to know was right there. Well, little did I know that the stuff that you need to know to be successful in business, they don't teach you in CPA school. They don't teach you this stuff. And one of my heroes, Napoleon Hill, he talks about this. He talks about that. Dale Carnegie, who wrote How to Win Friends and Influence People, said that these courses should be taught in business school. And I haven't been in business school for 35 years, so I don't know if they're teaching it now. I'm hearing about schools doing entrepreneur courses, and there's degrees in entrepreneurship. But I guarantee you that very few of them start at the beginning, which is with ourselves. You got to start with yourself. And so instead of going out and waking up and saying, "Oh, I got the world's greatest idea," because I wake up with that every day, the world's greatest idea, before you go and spend $3,000 on a website or, do some of the crazy things that we do, before you do it, if you're a newbie, if you've never been in business before, do not open your checkbook. Do not take out a business loan. Do not mortgage your house. Because these are the stupid things that we do, myself included. Now, the difference is I've graduated from being a newbie, and I know all too well what to expect when I start a new venture, like the one I just did. Because my business today is 180 degrees different than it was 9 months ago. 9 months ago, I was more of a corporate accountant. I had some big, construction clients, trucking clients, a mixture of small businesses that were basically acquired, clients that I landed over the years with no real rhyme or reason other than they came as referrals, they had a problem, and I was able to offer a solution. Now, some of those clients started out small. And when I say small, I'm saying, maybe 2 or 3 million. And, I like to think that I had a hand in helping them grow. But that was dealing with established businesses. So what I decided 9 months ago was that I didn't want to spend the rest of my life working in that environment. Not that there was anything wrong with it, but I felt a different calling. And that was to do what I'm doing now, right now, which is to spread education and awareness to new business owners. Because I've seen recently just too many people spending $2,500 on a trademark because they think they came up with a great name. In 35 years, I've seen maybe 2 or 3 companies ever have an issue with a trademark. And they were established companies with big names that were popular. And the reason why they got called to task was they got too big, and some other bigger companies saw what they were doing and claimed that they were infringing on their trademark. Now, what happens then is you get lawyers involved, and you're talking about big freaking money. We're talking about like 50 grand to defend a trademark suit. So why would anyone need to buy a trademark, let alone spend $2,500 that they don't have on a trademark that they'll never need, that they will not maybe 1.1% of all the businesses that ever start will ever have an issue with a trademark. Okay, now that's my opinion. And, you know, if you're a trademark attorney or you're like one of my friends that has a trademark guy as a friend, and I'm not supposed to tell people they shouldn't be buying a trademark, but that's tough. That is tough because that's based on my experience, okay, which is over 35 years dealing with thousands of different businesses in all industries, all types, all shapes and sizes. Okay, so you tell me why I would need to buy a trademark for Bedrock Business Builders. Okay, unless I'm making millions of dollars and that's a nationally recognized name, I ain't spending $2,500 on that. I'm sorry. And so what happens now, people, and you know, I'm not going to apologize for maybe talking at you, because I've been accused of talking at people and not talking to them. It's not out of disrespect. It's because I am passionate about this. And I've had enough of seeing people go into these Tony Robbins 3-day events and coming out ready to quit their day jobs. So let's start talking about the solution. And the solution, people, is to tread slowly. If you're new in business, if you're brand new and you have no experience, okay, if you just got into business, maybe you see that there is an endless stream of information and stuff that you're supposed to be doing. Okay, it is impossible. Take it from somebody that's been doing this for as long as I have, seen as many businesses as I have. Okay, it will not go smoothly. It's not designed to. There's too many moving parts. So what I recommend to people, unless you're in a situation where like you just got laid off or fired and you have no choice but to do a business, those are people that are forced into entrepreneurship. And there's a way to do that too. Now, when you're in that situation, you must focus on generating revenue. That's the facts of life. That's the facts of life. But there's intelligent ways to go about it. And what happens is that most people just throw enough stuff against the wall, hoping that some of it is going to stick. And sometimes it does, but most times it doesn't. So I started talking about my 180 in my business because I want to share this with you. It's important because what I did was I knowingly walked away from a large part of my business. And I said it was because I had this calling. And believe me, I'm no saint, far from it. But the things that I've been seeing going on in the business world, it has to end. It has to. I've been fascinated with business success for the last 15 years. I've been studying Napoleon Hill, Wallace Wattles, The Science of Getting Rich, Ralph Waldo Emerson, Robert Kiyosaki. You name it, I've read it, and if I haven't read it, it's probably on my list. Okay, I am a human sponge when it comes to learning about business success. And just like Napoleon Hill, what I found out was why people fail. Yeah, there's a formula for success, but there's also a formula for failure. And that formula is comprised of shooting from the hip, like we all do. Because just like when I started, I had no idea what I was doing. Now, this time, I knew what I was doing. I took a calculated risk. Okay. And I suffered for it. I didn't suffer, but I went through some financial and economic pain, and I'm still going through it. And I don't want you to feel sorry for me. I'm in a better place now than I've ever been in my life because I know that I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, and the money is going to come flowing in because that's how it works. But now the difference is when I did it, I had my budget in place. I know my cash flow. I know my obligations. Okay. And what happened was what happens to everybody. 9 months ago, I went into this new market with grandiose ideas on signing up so many clients that I was going to need a big staff because that's what we do. We're entrepreneurs. We're supposed to think like that. Now, the difference is I didn't have little kids that I'm raising. I don't have a big mortgage. And I knew that I could survive. My living expenses aren't that high anymore, thank God. So I was able to take a calculated risk based on where I was at the time and based on where I'm gonna be. And the lesson, and it wasn't a lesson because I knew it, I knew that nothing was gonna work exactly as I had planned. But as an experienced entrepreneur, what we do, people, is we figure out what doesn't work, we tweak it, and we try not to do that again until we find out what does work. And I'll tell you what does work. This works. Haley's Gray's platform, this Women's Entrepreneur Network. We got close to 65,000 women entrepreneurs in this group, entrepreneurs in this group. And Haley and her team, Jenny Wright and Irene Pro and all the people in the background, there's over 30 group administrators. You know, this is a big project. But this platform, this gives us all a way to reach millions and millions of people. Now, I know from the short time that I've been doing this, that when I do one of these Facebook Lives and I record it and I'll put it up on YouTube, you want to know something? People are watching them. They're watching them after we do this. They'll be up there forever. I'm getting feedback from people that are watching my videos. And that's supposed to happen. But to be honest with you, if you've never experienced it, to know that it's supposed to happen is one thing. But when people start complimenting you and telling you that, you know, they're watching your stuff, then you know that you're on the right track. So if you are watching this, give me a shout out. Give me, you know, a hashtag replay, hashtag live. Let me know that you're watching. And if you have any questions or comments, you post it in the group comments and I will respond. You know, right now, I can respond to everything personally. Okay, I can give people close personal attention, and that's what I want to do. So, you know, I just reveal a little bit more about me. I have nothing to hide. I'm transparent. Uh, you know, and if you ever want to chat with me, again, you can go to Time with Joe. And, you know, so I've eaten up about half the show on stuff that's really not even what I planned, but that's what a show like this is great about. You know, I can go on here and I could basically talk about anything, bring guests on. I'm going to give Haley a plug here now because I know, you know, this is important. This is a great platform. And if you want to have this kind of platform for a ridiculously inexpensive price, you should contact Haley and talk about doing your own show. Because this, think about it, people, 10, 15 years ago, the idea of having, let's say, a radio show or a podcast was like a fantasy for most people. It was an idea for me. But today, I can produce this video, put it up on YouTube, and turn it into a podcast in less than an hour. And if I want to hire a VA, like most people should do, you know, you hire people to do stuff that you're not good at. But if I did that, think about it. I mean, this is an unprecedented time in business to do business. When I was driving that ice cream truck, doing business from home was like nobody did that. That was like if you had a mail order business or you sold Avon. There were no real home-based businesses. Now it's normal. Now it's normal to have a full-time job and have a side gig. Yeah, side gig is actually a business. And that's what I want to talk about, because if you're in business, you need to be in business. If you're charging people money, you need to take it seriously. I don't care if you're running a lemonade stand, which we all did. If you're watching this, if you're an entrepreneur, we all had the lemonade stand. Okay, we counted those nickels and dimes. Okay, you know, those were the days. We could run a little lemonade stand on the corner. Well, now everybody could have a lemonade stand again, folks. We can all have a lemonade stand right from where you could even do this on your phone. It's amazing. So let me get into some of the strategies, that the fundamental strategies, because that's what I teach, are fundamental strategies. It's not all about tax preparation and taxes. Yeah, I'm an accountant. That's part of what I do. But there's a lot more that goes on with the business before you do your taxes. Okay. And just to mention, my screen froze on the Facebook Live. I'm actually hoping that this is still being recorded, but it froze there. So if you're trying to comment in the comments, I'm not able to see it still. I will practice that for future broadcasts. But let me go through a couple of slides here. I only have a couple, and let me see if it's going to, there you go. So when you first start a business, what have I been saying? You don't need to spend a lot of money. What you need to do is you need to do your business with intention. What do I mean? Andrew Carnegie, Napoleon Hill said focus was one of the main ingredients on being successful. Andrew Carnegie was at one point in his life the richest, probably one of the most powerful men in the world. And he came from nothing, literally came to this country with no education, knew nobody, worked in a factory for like $2 a week, and he knew that you didn't need to have money to start a business. Having money is good. Yeah, once you start your business and you get off the ground, you're gonna need money to run it. You're gonna need money to expand if you want to. You need cash flow. There's no way around it. But it doesn't mean you need to take out a $10,000 loan before you even start. So what you need to do is get your thoughts together, organize your thoughts, put them down on paper. Having a business journal is essential. You know, I've been around successful business owners and unsuccessful business owners for most of my life. And I could tell you right now, forget about what you read, the Harvard studies and this thing and that thing about the amount of people that are successful. Yeah, that's fine when you read it, but when you're in the thick of it with people and you see it firsthand, then that's proof. People can write anything. But what I've seen over 35 years, that every one of my successful clients had a pad and pencil or a pen. You might call it a daily planner. It doesn't matter if you do it on Post-its like I do. Okay, yeah, I have a system. This is my system. I'm going to be teaching it to people where I have different colored Post-its and I write down random thoughts during the day. At the end of the day, I take them for the most part, and I will write them in my journal. So you know that I'm not making this up. You know, I have proof. So I practice what I preach, folks. So what you need to do before you go into business, say, what exactly am I getting into here? I mean, if you're one of the lucky ones that actually go into business without having to, or if you're one of those, if you're not one of those accidental business owners, which is another thing I'll tell you what an accidental business owner is. My son-in-law, okay, he's buying and selling posters on eBay. Well, it's a hobby to him. Well, guess what? It ain't a hobby to the IRS. Because once he goes over 20 grand, he's getting a 1099. And whether he likes it or not, it's way beyond a hobby. So either you got to stop selling stuff or you got to start treating it like a business. So now I've explained this to him. And so now it's up to him to say, oh, okay, so now I'm actually in a business. What do I want to do with it? Well, now all these doors open for tax write-offs, for other things that he may or may not have ever even thought about. And that's part of the spreading of education and awareness here. You know, it's letting people know what's down the road. So if you're planning to go into business, you need to get a journal and start writing down what it's all about. What is it about? What is the problem that you're solving? Like I did a Facebook Live yesterday, and it's 3 things. What is the problem you're solving? Who do you solve it for, and how? If you can't answer those 3 things, and they're not easy all the time, you might think it's easy, but then when you dig down, there's always another layer. And that's just the way it is. But if you don't put some thought and effort into this, into your business with some intention, some thought, and you don't write it down, well, you're doing yourself a disservice and you're an amateur. And amateur business owners get hurt. And I just saw that my friend Jenny Wright actually posted something here. So I think that the comments are working. So there you go. So you go into your business with intention. Now, a notebook that I just showed you and the Post-its, you're talking about like less than a $2 investment. That's what we're talking about, $2, not $2,500 for a trademark. We're not at that point yet. Okay, so we want to start journaling. Put all your thoughts down. Why are you doing this? Okay, what do you expect to get out of it? Jenny calls it clarity, business clarity. And that's what I'm talking about. But if you don't go into it with what are your expectations? What do you want to get out of this? You're going to get mixed results. That's a fact. You know, if you're baking a cake, you don't just dump a bunch of flour, eggs, and whatever else goes into a cake into a pan and then put it in the oven. You're looking at what are the ingredients? What do I need for the cake to actually come out to what it looks like on the box? So you might bake a cake with intention. You're going to go on vacation with intention. You're going to plan on where you're going to go, how you're going to get there, how much is it going to cost, all of this stuff. And if I'm wrong, put it in the chat box because I'm not wrong. And if you're watching this, you know I'm not wrong. But most people, the majority of people go into business, they get an idea, they go and they buy a domain name, and they're already out there trying to sell stuff. And it just doesn't work that way. Okay? You can try it, you might have some success, but good luck. What I'm trying to teach you here, what I want you to walk away with is solid information that's going to actually help you start your business without losing a lot of money. Okay? Now, time is important. We only have a certain amount of time. And that's part of the problem. Some people say, well, I can get $10,000 and then I don't have to spend 3 months on research. Well, wrong. I'm sorry, wrong. I've done that. You know, what's going to happen is you're going to spend your $10,000 and you're still going to have to do, now you're going to wind up doing 6 months of research. And you're probably going to have to go to therapy to find out why you screwed up. So, you know, and I'm not going to apologize for telling you the truth, but that's the way it is. And if you're going to go and hire a business coach or a marketing person, and they're going to tell you, oh, yeah, I'm going to get you on track. You know, all you're going to do is pay me $3,000 a month for the rest of your life, and I'll get you there. Turn around, okay? Don't open your checkbook. Invest in the journal and a pen, maybe some Post-its, and then start spending the time, because there is no way around that. There is no way. Okay? Not when you're starting a business from scratch. Now, if you go into something like a franchise business, where they already have all the pieces in place. You have your products, you have your marketing materials, you have a lot of the stuff that I'm talking about, you're already given. What they don't give you is the structure. They don't give you the information that you really need on how to run your business. They're going to give you all the tools, the back office, the supplies, and the ability to go into business. But now your job in that case is to spend the time, do the research without just going out and blindly selling. Because even with the franchise business, you still got to say, what is my intention for doing this? Okay. If you want to sell healthy products, vitamins, maybe you're a health nut. That you're selling the vitamins, that's a product, but what you're really doing maybe is educating people on health. So, you know, sometimes your products aren't even what you think they are. And I'm going to get into that now. So the next thing that you need to do is define your ideal client? Who are you going to do business with? Who do you want to do business with? You know, I did this. I started doing this about a year ago, looking at who my clients were and who I wanted my ideal clients to be. And I looked at my client roster and I said, I got a bunch of people that I really don't want to spend the rest of my life with. I'm not interested in helping them get richer. I'll let somebody else do that. I would rather spend the rest of my career with people that want to get into business but just can't, or get into business and don't know how to do it. Because I believe, based on my talent and experience, that this is where I could be of most service. And that's really what Andrew Carnegie wanted. You know, I want to be like Andrew Carnegie. I want to be the richest man in the world, but for the purpose of leaving it. Andrew Carnegie left a wealth of knowledge. There's libraries that he don't use. People can't even comprehend the amount that he gave back. But the best thing that Andrew Carnegie ever gave back, the best thing was challenging Napoleon Hill to put together what became Think and Grow Rich. Because again, Andrew Carnegie knew what I'm telling you, what I learned from him. You don't need money to start a business. Some businesses you do need money. Like if you're going to buy a franchise, or you're going to buy an auto body shop, or something that requires a large capital investment. I'm not talking about those kinds of businesses. I'm talking about the kind of businesses that start on somebody's kitchen table. Okay, that's what I'm talking about, people. And so if you're selling Avon, which is a business, you still got to do this, because you can't sell Avon to everybody. Your target can't be everybody. That's another thing I learned that they don't teach you in CPA school. They teach you about marketing and maybe market segmentation, but they don't call it your ideal client. Maybe they do. Maybe I missed that class. But this ideal client concept, it's a little important when you think about it. You know, I've been doing accounting for 35 years, and a lot of people need an accountant. A lot of people need their tax returns prepared. But after a while, I started seeing patterns on the kind of clients that would hire me, the ones that would give me a hard time, the guys that would, you know, have no problem asking me to commit felonies. There was a pattern. And unfortunately, in the beginning, I attracted a lot of clients that had a lot of problems because I was a problem solver. So all I was doing was looking for people with problems. There were plenty of them. But I wasn't looking at the kind of people. Now I know. Hopefully it won't take you 35 years to figure it out. But this is one of the things that you got to do that is like a never-ending process, believe it or not, because people change, you might change, your products might change. So you always got to look at who are you doing business with? Is it working? Do you want to do business with another kind of person? I met a guy about 30 years ago. He was in the insurance field. And what he did was he specialized in working with families with children with disabilities. Like I'm talking about real disabilities, like lifetime disabilities. And I remember thinking to myself that, how is this guy ever going to survive just doing that? And guess what? He retired when he was 50. He became a philanthropist, and God bless him. You know, I lost touch with him, but I did follow his career, and how wrong was I? You know, that, and he found that niche because he had personal experience with it, and he wanted to make a difference for those people. So he was way ahead of me, and I wish that I had followed what he had done. So you look for your ideal client. Some people call it an avatar. I have worksheets and projects for this. And if you reach out to me, you go to timewithjoe.com. You can book a free chat with me. I'm willing to talk to anybody about starting their business. I stopped giving marriage advice and stuff like that. So if you have that, you can go to somebody else. But if you want to know how to start, build, and manage your own small business, then book a chat with me. And I'll show you. I'll provide some of these tools and resources for free because they were given to me for free. And there's some of the tools that you can use to get into business without spending any money. Okay. This is part of what I call your foundation, the blueprints. This is the legwork that people have to do to start their business. Now, the last thing that I want to cover is what else do you have to define that they didn't teach me in CPA school? I mean, they taught me this, but they didn't really teach me about the scientific approach where not only do I have to know who I want to do business with, I have to have the right products and services that are going to deliver value to those people. So 9 months ago, when I went into this segment, I didn't have all of those products and services lined up. And I knew this, so I had to spend the time and the effort, not so much to give people what I knew that they needed, but to package it in a way that it was attractive to them and that they wanted it. So it's not trickery. It's not I'm giving people something that they don't want, like or that they don't need, like a personal budget or a business budget. But the truth is, people don't want to talk about a budget. But what they do want to talk about is getting their business on the right track. So what I did was I created a suite of products and services that are either no cost or low cost to get my ideal client into my sales funnel. And now once they are in my sales funnel, people like Jenny Wright and Haley Gray are going to explain to me what something called a nurturing sequence is. So I could guide my client down that sales funnel. And my sales funnel is not for me. Yeah, I have a business and I need a sales funnel just for logistical and business purposes. But that sales funnel is designed for my ideal client, to take them through the stages of entrepreneurship that are going to lead them to whatever their goals and objectives are. And those goals and objectives are created in the first step with your intention. So, that's it for today's lesson. I hope that I gave you something that you can walk away with. There's a lot to starting, building, and managing even a candy store business. I explained to people that you need an attorney and a CPA to open up a hot dog stand in New York City. Think about that. Now, yeah, you're dealing with food and health issues and all of that, but we're also talking about things like sales tax registration and setting up books and records and licenses and permits. And it's not all easy. It's not all easy. But if you want to sell hot dogs on a corner of Manhattan in the middle of January when it's raining and it's freezing out, that's your choice, but you still got to fill out the paperwork. And, that's my story. I'm sticking with it. Nobody's going to change my mind on it. And if you want to, contact me, like I said, it's timewithjoe.com. I also have Bedrock University, which this lesson will be going up there. Any of my lessons, any teaching materials go up on the university. I have interviews with people like Haley Gray and other world-class entrepreneurs and business people giving specific step-by-step business instructions. And there is a charge to this. It's a $97 lifetime fee for now because it's just beginning. It's $1 to try. You can try it for 2 weeks. You can download all the stuff I already have up there. You can watch all the videos. And if you don't like it after 2 weeks, I'll give you $1 back. Okay, if that's not an irresistible offer, I don't know what is. And so that's it, over and out for our first Recipes for New Business Success show. My name is Joe Dichiara, Bedrock Business Builders, Bedrock University, and I am signing off. Thank you for joining me if you have. And like I said, if you're watching the replay, give me a hashtag replay. Thank you.